what's up? It's your girl, Denise Joy. Welcome to Design Love. Let's talk design, where I share tips and hacks to help you design your home your way. My philosophy is do you, boo? I'm your girl, Denise Joy. I'm an interior designer and space curator, and I'm a 26-year college professor at the Howard University. I am also the founder of the School for Joyful Living, where I help women who crave community, accountability, and support implement an action plan so they can live their version of a joyful life. So, I if you are new to my channel, I do hope that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome and helpful videos. Drop in the comments, shout out your state. Let me know what brought you to this live today, this podcast today. And if you have any questions, drop them, and I promise that I will answer them. Listen, make sure you listen till the end. You want to hear the affirmation for this episode today. Today, we are talking about Declutter 101, a guide to get started and get it done. I hear so much from people how they feel overwhelmed by the amount of stuff in their homes. And I am so excited that here on Design Love Podcast, for the next couple of episodes, I'm going to be focusing on declutter, downsize, and organize. It's really like one of the most asked comments I get on my videos. Hey, y'all, definitely drop your name or your state. Don't drop your name because I can see what your handle is, but drop your state, what brought you here in the chat. And if you have a question, I promise that I'll get to it and answer it. I do have a confession. I absolutely love to declutter. It's I've shared this before in my podcast, but I lived in 13 different homes from the time, well, let me say apartments, from the time I was born until I was 17. My mom was a single mom. We moved a lot, and it just, I learned how to not have a lot of stuff, or the stuff I had, I just kept those things that really were the most important to me. And I really learned how to get by with less stuff, but really only keep those things around me that I absolutely loved. I have a couple of standalone or long form videos on how to improve your storage if you want some other insights. And I have an awesome episode on a garage makeover of DIY duo redesign, where I do a deep dive, declutter in a garage, and some organizing tips. So look for those, check those out if you just want some more insights. Now, today, this is a step-by-step deep dive, okay, on how to help you get that clutter under control. There is a lot to learn and a lot to do, so let's get started. I divided this guide into 5 steps, and this is just part 1. There will be part 2 on Monday, February 24th. So the 5 steps we're going to go through are where to start. Oh, I forgot to say, you can have a notebook if you don't want to keep referring back to this video. Get yourself a notebook, or maybe just, well, if you're watching this on your phone, you can still take notes if you have like an app, like a note taker. Take some notes, jot down the things. I'm always going to ask you, well, which of these things really resonate with you? What's really sticking out for you that you got to pay extra special attention to? I believe fundamentally you want to have your home reflect your aesthetic, your vibe, your energy, and surround yourself with things you absolutely love. Now, number 1, the first step is going to be where to start, and then when to declutter. When, and then 3, what you need to declutter. 4, how to declutter, and 5, letting go. Now, before I break down each of these steps, let me tell you a little bit more about me. In an earlier episode, I talked about how much I'm a little bit OCD about organization, and I already said I love to declutter. I get a lot of joy from decluttering and being organized, kind of putting things away or downsizing, shifting things that I no longer need. They no longer have real value for me. Decluttering and purging are a part of becoming, hey, what's up? Thanks for joining me, are a part of becoming organized. I like routine and I like adventure. I like adventure outside of my home. I like routine inside of my home. So somebody who thinks, oh gosh, you're so organized, you're probably boring. Absolutely not. I love a good adventure, okay? I have a saying, the adventure begins now, right? I have adventures every day, small moments of adventure, in fact. I do have an organized home, and whenever I show pictures or I'm showcasing my own home in some of my design videos, people often comment and say, "Oh my gosh, your home is so clean." Now, yes, my home is clean, but here's the thing. When your home is organized and you don't have a lot of clutter, it gives the message that this space is clean. And also, if you do your own cleaning, it makes you clean your home. And if you have a cleaner who comes in, hey, so we want things done well. So keeping an organized, decluttered home helps us achieve that goal. Before we get to those 5 steps, let me cover this. What is the right mindset for decluttering? Mindset is so essential, literally, in everything that we undertake and we want to do and accomplish in our life. Decluttering will not be complete overnight, but it will get done. That's a mindset shift that I think anyone who is tackling, I don't care if it's a small, from your perspective, it's a small amount of decluttering, or if it's a major amount of decluttering. That mindset shift is really critical. Decluttering will not be complete overnight, but it will get done. It will get done. And then a second, decide that you must get started and you must finish. That's really just taking a really powerful, decisive posture. You're slipping into ownership and a self accountability. All things that are really powerful motivators. You're thinking of it as an intrinsic, internal. Like, I'm about to do this for me, to me, for me, and I'm supporting myself. Goals. What are some of the goals for decluttering? One of the most important is to set yourself up for a new season in your life. Our life shifts, and even within a year, you might have different seasons or different moments in your life. And so decluttering will help you and support you to do well in the new or next season of your life. Number 2, be able to find things. So many people have that issue. That might be you. If that's you, you can drop that in the chat. Say, "Denise, you just shouted me out. You called me out. You called me out. You got me." Um, Number 3, create a place for everything in your home that you actually need. You have a place for everything and everything's in its place. Number 4, having less stuff to take care of. These are the goals of decluttering. Just having less stuff to take care of, less stuff to clean, having less stuff to weigh you down. That's number 5. Number 6, you stop buying stuff you don't actually need. It's something about decluttering, it puts everything into perspective. Like, I don't really even need that, or I already have that. I already have one of those. Number 7, you will strengthen your mindset and ability to change your behavior. And that's going to have a beautiful spillover effect. Once you up level the skill in one area, then it spills over into other areas of your life, and you find, like, oh snap, I can change that, I can do that, I'm empowered. So decluttering is like a little magic wand that you get to apply all over your life. And then right before our step number 1, let's talk about when should you declutter your home. Well, when you know that things have outlived their usefulness or appeal. They're no longer useful. Maybe you were in a big phase where you were air frying everything. Then you moved on from that and you realize, I'm just not into that anymore. And that's okay. We have the right to change our mind. So I'm no longer going to keep this air fryer, knowing good and well I'm not going to use it anymore. I'm either going to regift it or just any number of things. And then you've turned your home, this is my favorite. You've turned your home into an oversized storage unit that you are paying rent or mortgage for. Sometimes you'll look around and you're like, why do I have all this stuff? I'm not even wearing half of these clothes. I don't even sit in some of these rooms. I don't even use some of this furniture. I don't use these knickknacks. So you really have turned your home into this oversized storage unit. You're paying rent for it and you're paying mortgage for it. And that shouldn't feel good. That shouldn't feel good. And then last, you aren't using the things, but you are storing them long term. All right, let's get ready for step number 1 in decluttering. How to get started and how to get it done. Where to start? Now, I'm going to say something that might sound a tad bit controversial, which is I want you to start before you have a clear plan. You're going to start before you have a clear plan. And I'm going to tell you why in just a little bit. I suggest you start in a room where you spend the most time and it gives you the greatest satisfaction. So if that's like the spot where you watch TV, or if that's your bedroom, or it's your bathroom, I want you to start in that room. Why? Because it'll motivate you. It's going to motivate you to examine the rest of your home, and then you're going to want to create a plan. You're going to like, oh wow, that felt good to just clean that drawer, to declutter that drawer. Wow, look at, oh, look at this, look at that. So once you start, you're going to become more motivated to create a plan. You can also start in the room that contains the most frustrating amount of clutter. Okay? You're going to start in a room that has that, and it's just like, I don't even like to go in that room. I once worked with a client. She had a home office. She barely went in the office because it was so cluttered. So she was really working from her laptop just on her couch, but she always had to run up there into the office and maybe like grab this item, because she had the things that she needed, but she had to like literally, she sometimes had to climb over things and stuff. So start there. Start with the most visible clutter first, then work on the clutter that's behind closed doors. Behind closed doors would mean in a drawer, in a closet, in a cabinet. All right. But you want to just start one thing at a time. Start with the visible clutter. For example, if you have, I'll just use the home office, I'll continue with that. If you have a big stack of paper and it's just been sitting there, you have to kind of move around and reach around it and everything, and you just have been avoiding going through those papers, that would be visible clutter. You're going to start with that pile right there. You're gonna start with that. We're gonna start with visible clutter. Once you start, then you create your plan. The act of starting is going to tell you what you need to do. It's going to inform you. Starting is your friend. Okay, it's going to give you that information. The feeling of getting started activates your feelings of, I'm accomplishing something. I can do this. I can get things done. I care about myself. I do things that are beneficial to me. Y'all see how I'm kind of geeked up about this. There's so many benefits to you personally, to decluttering. Which of these resonate the most with you? Drop it in the chat. Let me know which of these are just resonating with you so strongly, and you're like, you got me on that when you called me out. That's step one. Step one was where to start. All right, let's move on to step two. And let me know if I need to repeat something. Please don't hesitate. When to declutter. When to declutter. Again, as I said earlier, people often feel just so overwhelmed and like, oh my gosh, I'm busy, or I'm tired, my work week, I'm doing so many different things. When do I even have time? Well, the time to declutter is today, tomorrow, now. Don't wait. Get started. Remember, you can pare things down. Start with just a piece of visible clutter, a stack of this, a stack of that, a pile of shoes that you just kept throwing in that corner. Start with that visible clutter and knock that out. Usually, small sections of visible clutter will take you no more than 5 or 10 minutes to just knock it out. Why? Because the visible clutter has been frustrating you for so long. Once you decide to tackle it, you have a lot of momentum built up to get in there and knock that thing out. Inside your mind, I know I'm not alone. You say stuff like, oh my God, I'm so tired of seeing that pile of shoes. I'm so tired of seeing that stack of paper. I'm so tired of moving that out of my way. Right? Right? I know that you can relate to this. So, next, when to declutter. Plan your start to benefit from trash collection. If you know you're going to be throwing quite a bit of stuff away, and you're like, it's Saturday, and trash collection is Wednesday. Let me get this started right here so I can take advantage of. I'm going to be putting a lot of stuff in trash. I'm going to fill up my bin or two bins. Boom. And you're doing something that's more coordinated. You have a little micro plan, and it also gives you a sense of motivation. If you're like your religious community, or maybe you're in some type of sorority or fraternity, and they're doing a big flea market or tag sale or something like that, you can also decide to do your decluttering So you can take advantage of that. You might be able to donate some gently used clothing, shoes, other items, furnishings, etc., small working appliances. We don't want to take things to that type of event that are broken or don't work at all. Which of these resonate with you? Under when to declutter, do you hear some good ideas? Are you saying, okay, okay, thank you so much, Denise. Yeah, I think I can jump in. I think I can jump in. Step 3. What do you need? What do you need to start your decluttering and get it done? Set up 5 bags. This is my strongest recommendation. Either 5 bags, like those big, um, they're usually in the color black, but they're really strong trash bags you can get from like a big box home store. Or if you want to use boxes, depending on how much you have, the boxes might not be big enough, but either one will work. But here they are. You want a bag or box that's for things you're going to keep. You want a bag or box for things you're going to toss or throw away. You want a bag or box for things you're going to donate. Remember, not things that are broken or well worn, or give away, donate or give away. Number 4, things you're going to sell. Sometimes you have some stuff that you're going to sell. You might sell stuff online. You might sell stuff, clothing, Poshmark and others. You might do Facebook Marketplace, etc. And then the number 5, things that you're going to store somewhere else. I'm not really a big proponent of number 5, but we're going to get into it. So number 1 are the things you're going to keep. If you know you're going to keep something, and let's say it's just in a room that it doesn't belong in, you'll put that in the keep bag or box. Toss, things you're going to throw away. I suggest you get that big trash bag for that. Put those things in there. Don't look at it in there again. And after you've put something in there, you've already decided that's going out to the trash bin. Donate and give away. Donate and give away, again, things that are not broken or overly worn out. And your giveaway might be to friends and family, but don't just say, oh, call me up or text me, say, hey, Denise, I'm getting rid of this. I'm going to give you this dress. I might not want that dress. I might think that's clutter, for me. So I say you always want to ask someone. You want to explain and say, hey, Denise, I already told you I'm doing this big declutter project. And, I forgot I had these 2 dresses or these shoes. They're your size. Here's some pictures. Let me know if you want them. Now we are being reciprocal. We're being courteous. We're saying, hey, I'm letting you in on something I'm doing that's to help me. Let me know, do you want this? And in that way, you offer your family member or your friend the option to say, oh, girl, that's so good for you, but I already have enough stuff. Thanks so much. And everybody's cool, right? It's nothing worse than somebody like, I can't believe she's trying to give me her junk. I mean, it's not junk, right? Because you wouldn't give junk, but you know what I mean. And again, I already went over sell, things that you're going to store elsewhere. I had to sigh, y'all, because the amount of money that folks spend on storage units, things they never even on an annual basis, is absolutely absurd. I just do not believe in having a storage unit. If you absolutely must, and you are absolutely going to that storage unit on a monthly or bi-monthly basis to access things, or you have a plan by which to end paying that storage fee, then yes. But I just have heard way too many horror stories, and I know you probably have too. Or maybe you're in that situation and you're thinking, "Ah, every couple months, man, I got to do something about this storage unit. I'm just giving my money away," right? You don't even sometimes remember what's in the storage unit. So the 5th one, which is store elsewhere, be real careful with that. Be real careful with that. Don't create a second clutter or storage and organization problem by having a storage unit you're never really going to access. And before you know it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, dare I say, 10 years go by. You never even been you never even been back to that excuse me, back to that storage unit. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to be more mindful. I also suggest when what you need, you get a notebook. Get a little notebook, a little journal or something, a pen, take notes. Like you want to write down who you think might want this or that, these shoes, this pocketbook, etc. Write that down. You might also write down where you might store something instead of in the spot it's in when you find it. You're going to make notes. Why? Because If you have a bigger job in front of you, you're not going to remember your ideas. You're going to, oh, okay, so and so. You're going to get tired, you're going to get worn out. And so it's nice to, again, do a loving gesture towards yourself and you write down where things are going to go as they are happening. Bonus, have a lost and found box or bag. So you're like, I don't know what this is or what it goes to, but I don't want to get rid of it yet. Toss it in the lost and found box. Later, when you got a little glass of wine or some tea, you sit and listen to some good music or watching TV, go through the items that you put in that box. You might realize you discovered the piece to something like, I don't know where something is. Or if it's then you realize I need to go ahead and throw this out, then you can do that. Here's a caution. Do not have an undecided box. Just don't do it. Don't have the hemming and hawing box. Should I keep it? Should I not? Absolutely not. Do not create that box or that bag. You know why. If you already are locked into, I can't get rid of things as freely or easily as I would hope to, just don't put yourself into that trick bag. Now, which of these speak to you? Which of these in step 3, what you need, are like, thank you, Denise. Thank you so much for cluing me in, hipping me up, so I know what I need to do and how I need to go about it. Step number 4, how to declutter. So you got your mindset right. You coming in with the right mindset. You got your supplies, everything. You've started, and now you've also created a plan. Now, how do you get to it? How do you do it? Focus your time and attention on one clearly defined thing at a time. So, one drawer, one shelf in your kitchen cabinet, one thing, one corner of your closet. If you have a big walk in closet, you're like, this thing is too much. Well, don't look at the whole thing. Say, I'm going to do this back wall. I'm going to do this section of the hanging where my clothes are hanging. You pare it down to one thing that's not, it's just one part of this larger issue that you're facing or this larger dilemma. So you really create your time and attention focused on one clearly defined thing. Determine in advance how much time you're going to commit. Determine in advance. So is that 10 minutes? You can get a lot done in 10 minutes, y'all. Listen, I've been a college professor for 26 years. I have taught my students how to improve their time management. They're like, ooh, if I had known this. You can get a lot done. Again, if you focus, carve out that time, 10 minutes. Is it 30 minutes? Is it an hour? Do you have the luxury of saying, okay, I'm going to do an hour, but set it in advance and make a commitment to yourself. It's so wonderful when you are kind and loving towards yourself. You just feel better. You feel good about being you. Number 3, wear comfortable clothes. So important. Wear something that you can move around in that does not restrict you. If that's leggings, sweatpants, make sure to wear shoes. Don't do it barefoot because sometimes we drop things. So, at least wear some sneakers. You don't have to have on some steel-toe boots, but do cover your feet. Number 4, put on some music that gets you pumped. Okay? If it's like some kind of ratchet music, hey, throw it on, whatever. If it's it could be classical music, whatever it is that just gets you feeling like, okay, let me get into the groove here, right? Get into the groove. Okay, yeah, y'all, my fans who know from the 90s. Okay. Focus your attention on your goal. What's the goal? To complete the allotted time and stay busy the whole time. Now, all of this is how to declutter. Okay? Set a time period for decision making. This is super important. I like to tell my clients to take 1 minute. If you can do it in less than 1 minute, meaning make a decision, great. But at max, give yourself 1 minute. When you touch something, you have 1 minute to decide which of those bags is it going to go in. Keep, toss, donate, give away, sell, or store somewhere else. Boom. That way you create a rhythm and a pace. You put a demand on yourself to go ahead and make those decisions. Remember, plans give you boundaries. Plans give you boundaries. For example, if your plan becomes, I will put down social media and turn on some music that gets me pumped, and then I'm going to declutter from 7:30 to 8:30, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Because the goal is to get it started and to get it done. That means you're going to have to create that time bound plan for yourself, but do it in small, doable chunks of behavior and time. Now, which of these how to declutter are rock solid for you? You're like, you're feeling more like I can do this. I can get started because I'm on my way to get it done. I already have my mindset set. I've got to tackle this. I'm not leaving 2025. I'm not leaving February, or I'm not leaving this quarter of this season where I haven't gotten started and getting it done. All right, questions? Any questions? Make sure if you're listening to this on the replay, make sure to still drop your questions. I'll come back. I will address them. I will answer them. If I don't have the answer, I'll point you to a resource that can help you out. I love doing that. And again, thank y'all so much for joining me here on Design Love Podcast, where we talk design and I give you the tips and hacks to help you design your home your way. Because you know my philosophy. Do you, boo? Now, step 5, letting go. This one can be tough, okay? Letting go is, how do you let go of things? I once, a couple of years back, I worked with a client who I was redesigning her entire basement, and she homeschooled her son from, since he was very young till at the time when I met her, he was 16. But she had never thrown away or gotten rid of the homeschool supplies from when he was very young. She had everything, and it was just overflowing in the space. So the first thing we had to tackle was decluttering. And I worked with her for a couple of hours to go through these steps that I'm sharing with you all and teaching you. And it was such an emotional time. I kind of felt a little bit like a declutter therapist, I'm not a therapist, I'm not trained, but you know what I mean, kind of figuratively. But I did hold her hand sometimes. We talked through, why she felt she needed to have that. It's for some things I got her to commit to. She would keep X thing for another couple of months and then lovingly let it go. It had served its time. So if you are feeling uncertain about keeping or getting rid of something, you can ask yourself, what's the worst possible thing that could happen if I get rid of this? Usually you realize nothing at all. I'm just, overly sentimental, if that's the way to look at it, for this, not understanding or willing to admit that it's just served its time. It no longer has its sort of even emotional value to me. It's just been around. So like, oh my God, I always see that there. I don't know if I could not look over there and not see that anymore. If you have, this one here should be easy for everybody. If you have more than one of something, you can set a number that you won't go above. Like, here's an example. Let's say you have 16 wine glasses, but every time you do a kickback or a get together, you're only using between 6 and 8. So you really don't need 16 wine glasses. You've never used them. You might even only use them at the holidays. And it would be easy to cut that 16 wine glasses in half, to just do the 6 to 8, to declutter, to free that up. That's just one example. You could do that with shoes. You could do that with dresses, t-shirts. Ooh, child. I had gotten my t-shirts out of control, y'all. Because, a lot of times I'm gifted t-shirts, and I'm like, oh, thank you. And I looked in there and the drawer was just, it was like, oh, the drawer was so full. And I had to sit. I went through each one. I'm like, okay, let's set a number. You're going to set a number. And then that way I'm going to pick only those t-shirts that I'm like, yes, I need this in my life right now. So I did that. And it can be tough work. And again, most of those things, because I was also attached, because, I remember so-and-so or this organization gave me this t-shirt. I'm in the same seat as y'all quite often. So I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to y'all. I'm talking to the community. We are the community. So that's a good tip. All right. Let me know if that one really speaks to you. You can just cut that number in half, set a number. If the struggle is really tough, you can let an item sit for a day, no more than 2 days. Because you need to just deal with it. All right. Put on your big boy, your big girl shoes and deal with it. Like, I'm the boss of me. I'm going to make a decision. and come back to it and say, I need to make a decision. Where's this going to go? Okay. This is something I've done before. If it's clothing, you might cut a little swatch, a little piece off of it and make a memory, like a vision board. But I've done a memory board. I did this when my mom passed away. I had many of her things. I did a beautiful memory board, and I said a set time that memory board would stay up. I framed it, and it hung in my home at the time for 1 year. And then, out of honoring that commitment to myself and my mom, then I took the memory board down, and then I was able to let those things go because, my memories are really inside of me, right? And I have pictures and things like that, but that's maybe a non-traditional tip of a way that you can really deal with something that has that kind of sentiment. Now, I'm going to wrap up here with big questions to ask yourself to figure out what to do with stuff. All right? You should say this to yourself. Have I used or worn this item in the past year? Sometimes I'll say the exception for this is like evening gowns and things like that. But you know what? Let's turn over a whole new leaf here in 2025. If you haven't worn an evening gown that you have like in another part of your home for 2 years, but 1 year, either go to more events that require that kind of attire or let it go. Number two, has anyone else in my home used it? If you don't live alone, you have a partner, you're married, you have children. Has anyone else in my home used these items in the past year? If it's a no, you know what to do. Do I have a definite use for this in the foreseeable future? Foreseeable future means, in the not too distant future, not a couple of years from now. If it's broken, is it worth fixing? This is a big one for me. I have this other philosophy. Stop settling for, oh, that's good enough. Oh, that's good enough. Ooh, stop downplaying what's of real value in your life. You should not have a bunch of broken things in your home, and just tolerating things. Tolerating things is the biggest way to suck your creative energy, just like a straw, blowing it out. And you have lower energy, you have a lower motivation. So is it broken? Is it worth fixing? Does this item serve a worthwhile purpose in my life? Remember, surround yourself with things you absolutely love and you're going to use. You're going to get value by looking at them and taking in their energy. Do I need to keep something for a legal or a tax purpose? Again, going back to that stack of papers in that office, if you have one, or office nook. If you need it for a legal or tax purpose, file it. Make a nice little filing system. We don't use a lot of paper nowadays, but we still do have paper. So make sure you're filing things away. Next, is it more important to me to keep this item than to have the space it occupies? That's a good one. That's a real good one. Make that decision. They say stand on business. Do I love it? Now, when I wrote this one, I thought, but dang, what if somebody says, but I love all my stuff, or I love a lot of stuff? Well, then you have to start again setting those numbers and saying, okay, I'm not going to go over this number. And then does someone in my household love it? Same thing though. You still have to set a number, right? People sometimes love to say, oh, my closet is so full. My closet is stuffed. I can't get in it. I'm like, that's not a badge of honor. I think it's not a badge of honor. You should be able to freely, easily, with ease, move about your home, move into your closets to see things, to make decisions, right? To have efficiency that helps you in how you operate in your day-to-day existence in your own life. So last, would it be difficult or expensive for me to get another one if I, toss this and put it in the keep or the donate pile? And you're going to use it, right? You're like, all right, I gave the example of the air fryer earlier. Well, if you hadn't used your air fryer in a month or two and you knew you used it, then say, I love to use a calendar. It's one of the ways I stay organized. And this might sound a little weird, but you could start to put on your calendar every other week or once a month, use the air fryer, make a meal with the air fryer. Because sometimes we just forget, you know what I'm saying? And you need that reminder, like, shoot, so much is happening in my world and I've gotten so busy. I forgot all those wonderful meals I was making with my air fryer. And put that reminder on there. Trust me, it's going to change your life. It's going to change your life. So let me know which things or which of these questions resonate with you, which things are now prompting you to shift your mindset and say, shoot, girl, quit tripping. You could do this. You could do this, right? So, my closeout affirmation, every podcast episode, I have a closeout affirmation connected to our topic. I invite you to adopt these affirmations and or create your own. But for today's episode, affirmation, I am committed to decluttering my home and my life. I deserve to be free from stuff weighing me down. One more time. I am committed to decluttering my home and my life. Oh, Vanessa, girl, thank you so much. Thanks so much. Oh, I love the Joy Junkie. I didn't know that was your brand name. Oh my gosh. You know I love that. So, one more time. I am committed to decluttering my home and my life. I deserve to be free from stuff weighing me down. Thank you always for joining me for Design Love. Let's talk design, where I share tips and hacks to help you design your home your way. Be sure to check in on Monday, February 24th. I will be doing part two of Declutter 101. Get started and get it done. Believe it or not, there's more to learn, more to take advantage of. My live episodes of this podcast drop every Monday. Well, I do them every Monday and Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you haven't joined live and you're watching the replay, shout out your state, share what brought you here, and share your questions. I promise to get to them. Y'all have the best day that you can absolutely have. I'll see you in the next episode. Oh, wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, gosh. Yes. I'll see you Monday. If